Hi, this is Brandon Spilley from thirstgym.com. Today we're talking about exercise called the Prowler push, and we're specifically going to focus on the high handle position. The Prowler is arguably one of the best conditioning tools on the market. I think if you want to be able to work on aerobic capacity, your sprint mechanics, you want to get your legs stronger, you're overall just looking to build better athletes. If you don't have a Prowler, I think you're really missing the boat on some free potential for your athletes to get better. Not to mention the fact that most of your athletes can recover from it very quickly in terms of muscle soreness being a concentric only option of training the lower body. There's multiple different ways that you can use this conditioning tool, and we're mainly going to talk about the high handles and some different stepping positions involved with using the high handles, and we'll talk about the low handles in a separate day. The high handle position is what we prefer at Thirst, mainly because we can work on running mechanics tremendously easier with the high handle option versus the low handle option. I like the athletes to be able to push it fast or load it up, make it heavy, and make them grind and do some mental challenging stuff on top of that. The nice thing about the high handle position when we're leaning forward is we work on sprint mechanics and make sure they've got a good solid forward lean, and we can also focus on driving the knee up and then pushing the toe down if that's the problem the athlete has. We have to assess the athlete and see how their running mechanics looks when it comes to us. We can't just blindly throw them in there, but generally that's probably one thing we're looking at. The other thing is if we realize that when athletes run, they do a really bad job of, they got weak glutes and hamstrings, and we need extra work back there. I think the Prowler is the best way to get that work while also giving the athlete something fun to do. You will also realize that it is a unilateral option because they're pushing with each individual foot, and it's also safe in that regard. So the options there, just that one particular handle position has opened up a floodgate of what we can do. So with the Prowler, I've got it unloaded just so I can show here some different options. But what we're gonna do with most of our athletes, the high handles are basically the giant handles that come out. These would be considered the low handles for us. So if we're trying to build up the glutes and the hamstrings and we want some good solid walks, we'd be here. We want to take good quality steps forward. Good quality steps forward, full heel drive, really make sure we're pushing through that heel and that backside. If we're working on sprint mechanics, we're going to have the same forward lean, but we're going to make sure that we drive the knee up high, keep the toe up good and tall, and then when we come down, we're going to press into the turf almost like we're marching. And you'd be amazed at how many athletes have a hard time grasping that concept of knee drive and then shoving down. So the marching aspect, usually they struggle with. The other option is you can just load it up and make them work, let them push it however they want. Usually they're going to choose to push through their toe, short, choppy steps, and try to keep it moving. Try to emphasize that they get that foot up a little bit and apply more force, because if they can apply more force, they're obviously moving more weight faster. And then from there, then you can start to pick with different options, whether they're actually fleeing forward. Many of them will choose this option if they're trying to move some weight. I try to coach our kids away from that just because of the shoulder position. I don't really like this for that point, especially usually when it's heavy. If we're talking about sprints, okay, I'm maybe not as concerned, but I still think if you're sprinting, this is the preferred option because we get the forward lean involved much better, and I think it feels more natural than if we're leaning like this, because this incentivizes our chest to be down, and we really want our chest tall when we go to sprint. Obviously, how you program the Prowler is entirely going to depend upon what you have at your training facility, or home, or outside, or park, or your team. But the high handle position is our most programmed option that we use. And like I said, if you're trying to develop lower body strength, speed, conditioning, you really got the whole gamut here of what you can do with the Prowler. So that's the high handle position. If you have any questions, feel free to leave in the comment section. Thanks. Have a great day.